Hey, you good? You got pretty lucky to survive getting a shot in the head like that. Me and the other doctors will take care of you, okay? Just relax. Oh, you wondering what that picture is over there? Oh, that's, a story, a battle of something a lot of people had lost a long time ago. Something I think I can tell you while you get better. There were many things that had happened. The disappointment, the anger, the disrespect. 7 years of hard work being wasted. But there was romance. Oh, sweet romance. The story I'm going to tell you is a battle for the frontier.
You dork. Go back to the chess club.
There's nothing there.
Yes, I was in the chess club.
But first, just like any war or battle, we need to see the climate at the time to know why all of this had started. This all started with a man from the chess club.
You dork. Go back to the chess club. Who's laughing now?
Bethesda would buy an old IP from a studio called Interplay for $5.7 million. They then put their hat in the ring to make a sequel to that game called Fallout 3. Some fans would call it a dumbed-down version of the originals, but people were loving what the chess man was cooking.
All of this just works.
Meanwhile, at Bethesda Studios, there was going to be a sequel to this.
Spriggans, nature's guardians, my foot. Mean things, they'll curse you, or they might call a bear to tear you apart. Spriggans, nature's guardians, my foot. Mean things, they'll curse you, or they might call a bear to tear you apart.
So they allowed another studio, who just so happened to have the same people who helped make the original Fallout games, to make a sequel spin-off. It was a bit glitchy at first, but people loved it even more than the last one.
Yeehaw! Ain't that party?
Even if it was being held together by one dab of overworked superglue, to a lot of fans, it was considered a masterpiece. Nothing can ever top this. Then the sequel to that other game came out.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an
arrow to the... Then the man from the chess club was going to make another game after the masterpiece. That was Fallout New Vegas. June 2015. Todd from the chess club was showing some pretty cool stuff. And it was very exciting. Then it was shown at E3.
Great things about Fallout is the world that existed before the bombs fell.
Yes, Todd, I am ready for your art that you're going to show the masses. Show us now what you have been working on in your magnificent mind of yours.
How are the two most important men in my life doing?
What is
Spin
this?
the mobile a bit.
What is
He
this?
loves that.
What is this? Oh, Todd from the chess club, why? Why have you forsaken us with your sweet little lies? Why? Why have you done this? Some fans were not happy with this even more watered-down version of a game they loved. However, some of them had an idea. If things were not going to get any better, they could make their own Fallout, even support Fallout mods. They could probably do what Todd could not. They could leave them to salvation. One of these mods that would be latched onto would be Fallout The Frontier, a mod, but not just any mod, a so-called mega mod, with everything that you can think of. It had a new world space and design with a fully snowy, real-life landmarks, locations from the state of Portland, Oregon. Gameplay with a vehicle system with dozens of new interesting creatures, weapons, and armors. Unique effects that are quality and awesomeness. Voice acting with fully voiced dialogue with over 24,000 lines read by talented voice actors and some celebrity guests. Cool. 3 major questlines following the NCR, the Legion, and the Crusaders of Steel. Who? More importantly, this was going to be lore-friendly, with them saying that, apart from the chosen location, we also really try to fit the Fallout kind of look and feel. All new assets, world space, ambience, humor are worked and reworked to blend well in with the Fallout universe. For sure, there will be no ponies. All of this was basically equivalent to a new DLC within itself. And it was all for free. Oh, you hear that, chessman Todd? I have a new love, and she was always there with me from the start. She was at the frontier, and I am ready, finally, to see her. Then it was January of 2021, birth of a new year, and to some, the beginning of a new world and a new life. If you can get in.
Told you before, it's too dangerous for a bunch of amateurs to handle.
One of the problems would be that, since this mod was very popular in development and was finally coming out, there would be a lot of traffic onto the site Mod Nexus, where you will be able to download this mod. But if you're one of the lucky ones, or a YouTuber, you have to make sure you have all of this. This, and this, and this,
Howdy.
and this, and this, and that. Oh, this one right here, that's also very important. This one right here too. That one over there, optional, but you probably still need it. Also this one right there. If you don't have it, the game will crash. And also, if you don't have this, it's not fun.
What the fuck are you doing?
All this just to make sure the mod runs properly. Which is not the fault of the mod itself, it's just how old the game is. However, even if you did get everything completely right... Oh boy, it seems like some people have missed a few bugs. The people were frustrated.
Fuck this, I'm going to play something else.
Some of them even hit the dreaded uninstall. But, my friend, those heroes who soldiered on were not ready for what they were going to see. No one was. Stolen assets from other games, with scenes from the mod that are literally one-to-one with other games.
I like the eyes on this one.
The quest for the game and the story being not very good.
Oh no, I'm playing as a character that has to rescue my character. Okay, I like that. That's neat. You know what? That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a +1. But also, isn't this just like the Call of Duty mission loading screens? Wait a second! Wait, no! Take that +1 back! Wait a second!
Then, the dialogue being very cringeworthy, meme-worthy, and being very hit or miss.
I'm just bored and hungry. I'm hungored.
But one of the stories was something some would call very beautiful. So beautiful. So wonderful.
Angel's Justice. That's what I used to call myself when I first joined. Yeah, I was kind of edgy.
Shakespeare. Absolute Shakespeare. Then people start to notice that the mod, for some strange reason, would have some weird stuff in it. And I'm not talking about the bugs.
Alright, what do you want to do?
Do you want to make love, darling?
What did you say to me?
Tell me, have you ever found love? Have you ever wanted to finally have and find romance? Well, even the frozen wastelands of Oregon, there is a lot of love up in them hills. Well, if you're into feet bondage or a scaly, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Like I said a little bit earlier, while people were playing the mod, they started to notice some things. They started to notice some very steamy undertones, you could say. Oh, you might be wondering what were those things that they had found. You didn't say that, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Hello, rubber texture. Hi, woman who has just turned 18 in her smelly feet. Hello, snake people that have human breeders and that people somehow find attractive.
Humans find us attractive. I don't know how to feel about that. Well, I know how the Queen feels, at least.
And has a weird quest line where you could do it with the main Lizard Queen.
Ah, yes, that's the good stuff. Oh, hey! Sorry for the wait. I was a bit busy with queenly matters. Mercury Runner said there was a new human. She didn't say you were so attractive.
Then the most infamous of them all, making sweet, sweet love to a creature known as a female Deathclaw. All of this would come to a head, that the mod was taken down in one day, and it was, to many that saw it, a complete and total utter disaster. Listen, I know I'm skipping some things here, but we'll get to that a little later. However, people had questions like, what happened? What caused this mod to have a downward spiral? Well, we need to look behind the curtain on the development of the mod to see. Alright, first we need to start at the beginning with the people involved. Also, most importantly, the chaos that would start from this. So, in the beginning, this mod was originally created by 2 developers. They're not that important. Then it would be taken over by the team lead named TG Spy. He was, so far as I know, the main guy who oversaw everything about the mod. He was basically the guy who approved many things. Do I think he knew everything that was going to happen? No. Do I believe he and someone else should have looked more into what was going on with their mod? Yes, you know, just in case if someone adds some risky stuff.
I'm only here for the chems? Don't judge me.
In early development of Fallout the Frontier, TG Spy would do reviews of mods for Fallout New Vegas.
Hello everybody, this is episode 2 of Mod Author Overview. Now in this episode we're going to be playing through the Road Below, but unlike my previous playthrough of...
look at him, so young and happy. And I hope nothing happens when he finally releases a mod.
Huh. That mod's never coming out.
Speaking of that, let's talk about the meat and potatoes of one of the mod's controversies, the story. So far as I know, it was created like this. You have 3 different factions. Each faction was created by 3 different writers. One of them would be well known and memed on the most, and that would be the NCR campaign. Because the writing is not good, in fact it's really bad.
When I'm not hanging out with Chloe or climbing the overpass, I'm here drawing porn. Occasionally non-porn, but mostly porn.
Originally, the mod was just going to be the NCR questline, but the mod got bigger, and bigger, and everything else was built around it. Then it would be known during the controversy that the entire NCR campaign was written by someone named Deathwish182. Not only that, they had full creative control on the NCR questline, and that they were very protective of it. He was so protective that he didn't want anyone to touch it, adjust it, or change anything of it. One of the developers would account that he would have a tantrum like a baby and threaten to leave the project like a baby. In fact, it was said by another developer that it was his little fiefdom, and he was not interested in being part of the team, and he barely interacted with the team at all. He was more interested in the coding and visuals during the development. The writing was an afterthought.
Yes. Hello, courier. As much as Blackthorn may think I need your help, I will have this aircraft fully functional in only a matter of time. You'll see. You'll all see.
Calm down, Way, man. I'm just here with the president. God.
Absolute Shakespeare once again. Now, why did they just let him stay if he was acting like this? Well, if Devil's Wish left, that would mean all of the content shown off in the trailers would be unfinished. Not only that, he knew how the game's script worked. Basically, the mod team were not in a good spot, and they were stuck with Devil's Wish holding the full mod hostage. The only thing they could do was fix some bugs that were in the mod, and we know how that turned out. The space station, the stolen plot points, and the cringe dialogue was all made by Devil's Wish. Then there would be a stolen asset found within the mod, but only one was found to be stolen. The others were free to use, quote unquote. As long as they made something that was for free, it would be fine. But there was one stolen asset found at the time, that being from Doom 3. The worst Doom game. I don't know why they chose that one, but they did it. Here's the thing that is very important about this. If you have anything stolen for your mod, it will be taken down from the Nexus. As you can see, this was really, really bad. They did try to change it, but Devil's Wish had other ideas. Crying like a baby. Well, hopefully they thought nobody would notice. As you can tell, they did. But when a former ex-dev was investigating about the mod, he was told that he backstabbed the team and was banned for some reason. Also, fun fact, he also did the dialogue for the Deathclaw romance scene as a joke and was part of a mode called Wild Wasteland. Still doesn't help that all of this is very, very weird. It would also be found that the other writers of the other factions did some questionable things. The Legion writer did the weirdly sexual undertones of the snake people, and then the other writer did a fanfiction about making love with a ghoul. This is what a ghoul looks like, by the way. It also has 114 chapters.
In the interest of telling a good story, I am taking creative license with some of the in-game conversations and actions. I will post as often as I can. Because it amuses me, chapters will be named after perks, challenges, etc. from the Fallout series, not just Fallout 3. I hope to fit a perk, etc., with either the feel or subject matter of the chapter rather than attributing it as a perk of the Lone Wanderer Kate or Karen. Thank you for reading and for confirming that I'm not the only Karen fangirl out there. Constructive criticism is always appreciated.
Well, to each their own. To each their own. All of this would not be the only problem for the mod. All these events would spiral out of control, and it would get attention from a certain group of people. A lot of people were very upset with the development of the Frontier, and those would be from V, a board on 4chan. The board on V is usually known for talking about video games, but with their more 4chan way of doing it.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
From January 21st to the 27th, posters on V went to war with the devs from the Frontier. They would find all the stuff that I have shown you, but there would be other things about the mod. One of those big things would be that the developers had a villain faction to the mod, a faction that has been in the past Fallout games, and that faction would be known as the Enclave. The Enclave would be one of the reasons why V would get involved into the mod, because the devs had some words about the people who liked the Enclave.
It's just a power fantasy. There is nothing meaningful in what they do. They are designed as
a fascist power fantasy.
A fascist power fantasy, yes. They are designed as a one-dimensional faction to act as the big bad guys.
Then some of the developers and TG Spy would call and compare the Enclave's fans and supporters who like them in the games to people who like this guy.
Bing bing bong bong bing. The lizard people are not Trump supporters. The only Trump supporters are generic Legion characters. Also the Enclave. The Enclave are Trump supporters.
Which would be a very bad idea to say at least, because this would overgeneralize a group of people who liked, well, a video game faction that does not exist. But also this would make some of those people who were not that very, very angry. Other developers would make the same comments, and their stance was clear. TG Spy would later on clarify that making the Enclave questline would be too much time for them. However, the damage was already done. The Frontier team kicked the Hornet's nest that got V's attention, and the Battle of the Frontier would begin. This is when the Sneed would rise. All these actions from the mod behind the scenes would get 4chan's attention, as I've already said. The V board, where people were talking about video games, especially the Frontier, were not liking what the Frontier was cooking. They would make fun of the mod by posting memes on their Discord, then they would all get banned, so they made their own with 200 people within a few hours. It grew and grew until it had over 600 users posting memes, until it all got banned.
Yeah, I was there for one glorious night, for 6 of the greatest hours of my life.
It was
I
amazing.
said the worst memes, we said the dumbest shit, and then I woke up the next morning and it was gone like a fart in the wind.
Gone. Angel's kiss. Disappeared.
It's gone. Disappeared.
They would have other reasons to hate the mod, but one of the major reasons by one of the members of the Sneedclave was one thing: bad damage control.
Even like what was in the mod, although that did play a huge part, and that probably would have happened anyway. But I think, and I said it before, I think the Frontier wasn't killed by what was in the game, but by their their abysmal damage control. The fact that like if you go to their Discord at all and say anything about it, permanently banned. You're a troll. You're a chud. You get removed from the server. You get called an asshole. Any YouTuber made a video out of it, they'd like call him an asshole and be like, unsubscribe from him right now. They put that in like the dev chat. Yeah, so that was.
Along with the Yandere dev level ban gating, it didn't help that they had said all those political things in their streams, like Enclave is for Nazis and Trump supporters and shit like that.
So let's just say it was not looking good. The Enclave comments would be a catalyst, and since the mod team does not like the Enclave, they would be known as the Sneedclave. Their battle against the Frontier would be legendary, and in this battle, many people were banned. There were many casualties, many people were called names, some I can't say on here. This would lead to the full deactivation of the Frontier. The mod, when it was released, didn't even last a day. 7 long years of work, totally and utterly destroyed. The Discord server was shut down. Then it was brought back. It did not go too well. Then content creators who played it made videos about the mod. Most of them hated it. They made videos talking about it, and they pretty much said that the game was a mess and was pretty much...
Why are you called a breeder?
Don't judge me.
You wouldn't say wiggity wiggity what in a fucking Fallout game. I'm sorry, all the goodwill that this mod built up is fucking gone.
You've got other problems in the mod. Over here, you have a recently turned 18 character. I have no idea if she was always 18 or if that was changed. I do know that they did change up some of her dialogue, and I'm not sure what.
Fallout the Frontier is a 7-year-old project for a mod to Fallout New Vegas. This mod was so grand in scope, it failed on delivery.
Them like cherries! Wolf's Impact. Holy shit! This is just Wolfenstein! This is so fucking stupid.
I like the eyes on this one.
I like the. Oh!
Is that David?
Really, really bad. People from the team started to leave, jaded that their work for 7 years was now being mocked. The developers were not having the best time, and it was too much for some. Especially when some of them probably saw this. Man, I wasted 7 years of my life working on this. After some time, someone had to explain themselves, and unfortunately, it was TG Spy, and he was going to be that guy. He would get to do some interviews about what happened during the development behind the scenes. But one of these would be the most embarrassing one. But most importantly, the most funny. There would be a live stream from Tyler McVicker, and this live stream would make things, let's say, even worse. There would be questions that the viewer would give Tyler to ask TG Spy. It went as well as you think it would be. A total disaster.
What are your thoughts on Sneed posting? It's from Jonathan.
I don't have an opinion.
I still don't understand. If someone could email me what it is, I would really, really appreciate it.
They did ask the important questions, though.
However, I will say that one of the things that people continually push forward to the mod is the idea that there was pedophilic content already existing within the mod's quest lines. Is that true?
No.
Why are people saying that?
People have developed this strange notion that the content that we've produced and the characters that are involved in these quest lines are underage, except having gone through the entire mod, I believe the only sort of content that I've been seen brought up is America, and she is not underage. And the only other character that I could speak of that is, I believe, 17, involved in anything at all.
I'm going to read that one more time. Why would he be worried if there was nothing to be worried about? I will say, kind of a poorly worded question, as I'm having a hard time following it, but if you could try and fill me in on that, that'd be great.
I think he's asking why did we worry to add a note at all if it was going to be a concern at all. And I couldn't answer for you personally. I think that's a question that Odin would have to answer. He wrote the character.
Who is Odin?
He's the other writer on the team, one of 3 major writers.
So I've actually been seeing quite a bit about how the Enclave doesn't have representation within the mod. Could you speak a bit to this fairly significant outcry about speaking specific? I keep saying specifically a lot. The Enclave. If you could, please.
Yes. So the reality is we didn't make the Enclave questline because we didn't really have a big enough team to take on a 4th questline. Nazo, Odin, and Devils already were working on their own quest lines, and to add a 4th quest line for the Enclave would have been a significant chunk of work that we didn't really have the people or the resources for. And the Enclave that we have present in the Frontier isn't exactly the most friendly, joinable faction to begin with. And I think a lot of the outcry for the Enclave has come from a perhaps poorly timed joke that we made on one of our first live streams, calling the Enclave a one-dimensional fascist faction and a fascist power fantasy. People have sort of taken that joke and assumed that was the reason that we haven't added the Enclave questline. It's not. The reason we didn't add an Enclave questline is because we just didn't have the time, resources, or the motivation to make one.
Then things would start to go nuclear.
Foot fetish stuff?
Yeah, he wrote all the companion dialogue for America.
Okay, could you talk a bit about this foot fetish stuff that I keep seeing so much about? Can you give some context to it, please?
Yeah. So people have taken a singular line in which America complains about her smelly boots at the end of a day and smelly feet at the end of the day, and somehow construed that into us being foot fetishes, which is...
Okay, so I have the line here I'll read.
Yeah.
Quote, "I'm dreading taking off my boots tonight after the running around we've been doing. Phew, My feet will probably put rotting fish to shame. Why is there a condom texture?
That was a... I don't know. It's one of those things you don't think about after having seen it for so many years, but it was always just one of those, it's kind of funny, I guess. And you only see it at the NCR truck at the start of the mods.
The truck that you ride into the frontier.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a condom on the truck.
Yeah, under one of the duffel bags.
I don't understand. Why is that problematic?
I don't know.
Okay. Here's another question from Jazu. Quote, talk about the Deathclaw sex. No vanilla Fallout game has come close to that. Or the feet, or the 17-year-old crap, end quote. Thomas, you have the floor.
Yeah. So the Deathclaw sex scene was written as an overtly ridiculous Wild Wasteland. And for anyone that's actually gone and seen it, you had like 13 different dialogue options, and they were all completely and utterly ridiculous. Just to sort of, it was funny.
Quote, please read this. He is lying to you. The dialogue with America has you call her your, again, quote, little slave girl, and she says she'll do anything for you, and cries.
Yes.
Then there will be even more weirder things that would happen, like special guest Mandalore Gaming said in the chat that he was traumatized by the game and the snake people.
Oh shit, Mandalore's here. What's up, man? Big fan. Mandalore Gaming said I legitimately thought the lizard screenshots were from a Lover's Lab thing or a joke. But this is way, way more than people were saying. I'm going to have nightmares about the skunk.
Now there would be even more moments that would happen on the stream, but at this point you get the idea. The live stream was really bad, it should have never been made. Not to mention it made the entire team on the Frontier look really, really stupid, bad, and in fact some have claimed them to be degenerates.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
TG Spy dodging questions, them getting schooled on lore about a game that's supposedly lore-friendly, and it just got worse and worse. However, I have been holding something back a little bit. Before all of this, however, it would be revealed that one of the lead developers of this mod was doing something not very good before and after he joined the mod.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
During the development of the mod, they would get another lead developer named ZutheSkunk. Zu would join the mod team later on in the last 3 years of development. But he was very crucial to the development of the game. In fact, he would do minor tweaks, fixes, and also did some art for the mod. Not to mention, he also had a secret location that was an Easter egg with a plush of Zu in the middle.
Ooh, and I put in one secret location in the mod. Did you find it? All I'm gonna say is that you should look in the southern areas of the world map. There's even an achievement for it. Steam version only.
ZutheSkunk made a lot of content for the mod, and you can tell he was very important to the team. Then people from the Sneakclave wanted to know more about this ZutheSkunk fellow. What they found would be something I have talked about before. They found some things that they did not like, him being a furry, a brony, but also was him having a special account. That special account was about My Little Pony. But of course, it was not just about the show. It was not safe for work art of the show, but not only that, the characters ZutheSkunk had drawn were underage. In fact, he was moving to another site named Inked Bunny because they can have bigger images and also allow not safe for work images of minors. Wow, that's just right out in the open just saying that. Then, after people found out about this, all hell broke loose. Articles from major gaming news sites were writing about it. People on Discord were asking questions, and were being banned for said questions. Even other developers from other Fallout mods were asking questions. about how ZutheSkunk was not checked to be part of this mod. The average person who had already downloaded the mod had some ideas of what to do with Zoo.
Stay safe.
But here's the big problem. Besides everything else, ZutheSkunk was not just an important part of the team, he was one of the lead developers. Not only that, I will let ZutheSkunk himself tell you what he did for the mod.
Mostly all the icons you see in your Pip-Boy. I made custom ones for every single item, perk, reputation, and even the achievements. Steam version only. I also worked on tweaking and fixing various armors and weapons. I'm the one who added female versions and ground models to most armors. I even added a few weapons of my own with custom models. All melee, curiously enough. Did you find them all? I also did all sorts of minor tweaks and fixes across various areas of the mod, particularly the quests from the Crusaders questline. And I guess I also proofread various texts from the mod, particularly the notes. You know, the ones on holotapes, terminals, that sort of thing.
Just like that, 7 years ruined by a questionable, furry, brony art fetish guy. Before he left the internet, ZutheSkunk would make a statement on what happened. The sad part is that I never intended to put anything fetishy into the project. The stuff that mod was criticized for before everything exploded was entirely the doing of other people on the team. I made a mistake and I am deeply regretful of that fact. I never wanted to hurt anyone or jeopardize the project like this. I worked hard to help to make the mod the best it could be, and it breaks my heart to know that I accidentally ruined it. I never wanted any of this to happen. After that, many people have claimed that ZutheSkunk would be thrown under the bus, with others not getting the same treatment. Then many people who worked on the mod left, and what's done was done. The Fall of the Frontier would be considered the biggest disasters in the modding scene for Fallout and other mods. The Sneaklave had won the battle, but the Sneaklave was a dog without its master and started to fight others like TK Mantis, with comments like this.
But if you're complacent with what the Frontier people did, and this goes for YouTube content creators that are in my community, this goes for peers of mine, this goes for people that I've talked to, this goes for fucking game journalists, and it goes all the way down to the people who just install the game and play by themselves. If you are complicit with what the Frontier did, and you're the type of YouTuber that just kept streaming it and you didn't fucking say anything about all the stuff that was going on because you didn't want to be involved in the drama, we're talking about literal fucking child predators.
This comment by TK Mantis was not taken very well.
The Frontier, he was riding high, you know, he's got like the one ring from Lord of the Rings, but it like corrupted him, it turned him evil. He became evil and like was corrupted by the dark power. So like he's also in Fallout 4 New Vegas. And so what happens is, one day, he gets banned suddenly. He goes to his YouTube account, or his community post. And keep in mind, his community's already like rabid. They just f***ed over the Frontier. That was awesome. That was huge. And they're like, you know, let's do this shit again, right? So when TK comes around and he's like, hey, Fallout 4 New Vegas are employing, and they're covering for like the pedophile devs from the Frontier. We should do something about that. You know, with no context, by the way, other than just like source, trust me, bro, here's a screenshot from 4 years ago.
Remember, overgeneralization of a group of people is wrong and bad. But everything petered out and it truly was the end for Fallout the Frontier. It would never be seen or heard from ever again. After everything, against all odds, Fallout the Frontier is making a huge comeback. This would be a rework project that would change all the weird things put into the mod. In 2021, the Frontier team that was still there after the disaster would address some of the criticism levied at the mod. Then they announced that they were going to do a rework completely from the ground up, mostly from the NCR campaign, after they got rid of all the controversial parts of the mod. But do not worry, after everyone left, a completely new team of developers came in to pick up all the pieces. This was an attempt to rework and meet the Fallout community standards, and giving a chance to be redeemed to some degree. It would change a lot of things, like characters being completely rewritten, the NCR name being changed to the NCR Exiles, the roads would be improved upon, giving people better areas to drive in and getting rid of a lot of objects in the way. A new version of the mod would rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Then it got cancelled. There were multiple reasons for this. In 2022, the team announced that the mod was going to be delayed because some of the developers were in Ukraine. And there was this tiny little event that would be happening in Ukraine. Then it was announced that the team would end the rework of the mod due to technical issues and burnout. Also, people and other modders not wanting to touch it with a literal 10-foot pole. But there was a chance that the mod would make another comeback, and it would have a new name called Fallout: The New Frontier. I see what you did there. This new version of the rework was already in development for 7 months before it was announced, and all of it was led by TG Spy, doing what the last one did, now with a tighter bit of control, and some of the problematic devs no longer being there. Things are starting to seem a little bit hopeful, a little bit bright even. But let's face it, this mod right here is just straight up cursed. And so, the leader of the chess club had won in the end. For now. In the world of the Fallout modding wasteland, infighting continued, trolling started, and many weird horny people lived and died, just as they had done in any other fandom. Because fandom never changes. Or something like that. As you can tell, this story is very out there, let's just say that. Yes, as you can tell, Todd had gotten us again. We were fighting each other, and nothing but pointless drama, but rightfully calling out a weird person. And yet no new games that could master the magic that is Fallout New Vegas. Ah, yes, the magic of New Vegas can never match.
Hey you, how did you get in here?
Oh no. You'll never catch me alive!
These damn Fallout fans.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and be careful out there.
I bet this was one of the devs' OCs.